Hey there, let's do it live on a Monday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Young Scarlet.
I feel like we didn't get much of an acknowledgement there.
Merely I feel like he was nonplussed.
I'm going to tell him we want more acknowledgement.
Yeah, a little bit more excitement. You look spectacular as I Merely Bo, the great Z. This is a great color blue on you.
Appreciate it.
You got your nice little golden hue to you. You've been out and getting some vitamin D. You're looking great.
Yeah, feeling good, man.
Yeah.
Trying. I just started today a whole new, courtesy of the Hoff. The last time I was with him, his ripness just was like too much. So I was like, all right, I got to start doing some cardio. So today was my first day. Woke up like on the Peloton, 20 minutes, about a 5-mile ride.
There you go.
Got after it, a scenic in the locks of Scotland.
Oh, there you go.
So I did that 20 minutes and that before my workout. So he's like, you got to be doing fasting cardio. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do that.
Fasting cardio.
He said it would also help if I cut down my wine.
Sad.
But I said, I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah,
So I said, this is still going to be better than not doing it.
Better than not.
It's going to make some type of an incremental
So what's
impact.
fasting cardio?
So you just do, because from the time I eat dinner, I don't eat anything until lunch. And he always wants me to do my workout and my cardio in that period before lunch, before I've done anything, while my body's still chomping on fat.
I like it.
So there it is.
I like how it goes.
My legs were very tired, though, after 20 minutes.
20 minutes on a bike. Yeah, that's a different.
It's not something I'd done much.
No, that was a big COVID situation where we were all on the Pelotons.
Yeah. You were on the treadmill, though.
I was on the tread. Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
I liked it. We had a nice time.
Yeah, we did. It was, it was a nice time. It was, that's one of those things that it has to become part of the routine.
Yeah.
Like you almost have to be like, this is what we do. It's the pancake breakfast. We do it once a month.
This is what we do.
This is how we do. You got to do it. So, hey, we had a practice. Well, did you have a good weekend? You do all right for yourself? How'd you do?
Great weekend. Yeah, got to hang out with the kids. It was nice. After I finally kind of regained my bearings on after that late arrival Friday morning. Had a nice time with the kids. And we went to Delmonico's, had a nice meal out on the patio, and then went to see Barbie, which is actually good.
I'm sure it was good.
It really was good. Gosling's
I'm not
hilarious.
at all surprised.
Yeah,
I'm sure
was
that
good. It was good.
I think both it and Oppenheimer were good.
Yeah, that was supposedly the double feature.
Yeah,
if you did a Barbie Oppenheimer back to back.
Right, which would have felt like a full day to me. Like
it would have been
5 hours of,
and it would have been very different.
Yeah, you probably do Barbie first, I would think, and then into Oppenheimer.
I don't know. Kind of like us, though. Do you want to go dark and then end on a little bit more of a positive, happy Barbie note, or do you want to go?
That's a good question.
Barbie and then into the depths of Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not sure.
I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could sit.
I feel like Oppenheimer, you're going to want to talk with people about, whereas like Barbie, fun little flick.
I'm telling Scarlett, I said we need more zest when you walk by when you return.
The least he can do is provide zest. We asked so little of him.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
Lots of football.
Yeah.
We had Bootsy's team. We debuted Saturday morning, 9 a.m. So that was good. Very dialed in early. First game, you never know what you're going to get. Kids were locked in and out of the huddle in 5 seconds, lined up, ready to go. Bootsy started quarterback, was lamenting his lack of touches. To which I explained, we only had 13 plays, dude.
He touches the ball every play.
Yeah, but you can't run it. So you can't run it, so he just has to hand it off, and then he got one throw. But then he did get a run in the second half, so he's more than fine.
So a quarterback can't run it?
No, because it's chaos if they do. It's 8-man flag. So if the quarterback runs, the kids it's too much. I actually agree with it. They're first, second graders. So
there's no read option?
No, Nope. So, but it's a lot of misdirection with handoff, and then he actually you're not supposed to rush, but the other team, it's young kids, they don't know what the hell's going on, and they rushed him, and he kind of had to flee the pocket, and he kind of threw on the run, made a decent little throw. It was incomplete, but made a good little throw. So we did that, and then we did in the afternoon. We had for NBC, we had 3 35-minute running clock halves of football, where it was you have the ball for 10 minutes, you have the ball for 10 minutes. Excuse me. And it was so it's a preseason scrimmage stuff. But these are all teams that we play in the regular season. Okay?
Okay.
So nobody showed anything. She just ran it right, ran it left, ran it right, ran it left, ran it for an hour and a half. I was there
Are they
from-
that worried about detailed scouting? Like, were there scouts from other organizations
buddy.
present?
Oh, buddy, youth football. Yeah.
Yes, there are scouts from other organizations present to watch a preseason game of somebody
Dude, there
else.
was one of the teams we scrimmage against had a drone that was filming it.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking out loud like we're friends, brother. That's what they did. They filmed it with a drone.
And so they have film sessions?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Get a little film. 6th grade football, baby.
That's not.
That's where it's at.
I'm happy that's a world that I have to occupy.
I will say that your zest for play calling and film study would be ignited at this. I mean, even more so. Like the schematic stuff would just.
I'm sure I'd have a
you'd be
great
in
time
pure
with
joy
it, but that's like.
But it's nuts.
I feel like there's a lot of hardos out there.
Oh yeah, more than a few. Yeah, and then you have to weigh in. We had to weigh in. We played at 5:05. We had to weigh in at 3:50. So we were playing at Medina Highland. We were there by.
What do you mean you have to weigh in?
Because kids can't be over a certain weight to carry the ball.
Okay.
So if they're over a certain weight, they have to put a sticker on the back of the helmet, and then they
Can't touch it.
So we were there from. I got there. We left the house. I left around 3:30. Left my house 3:30. Got home at 8. And that was. And then you just sit there all day waiting to play. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. So I mean, it was fun. The game's fun. The kids are fun. It was long, but it was like nobody did anything because we all play each other.
We were at the
It's just
pool.
pointless. Yeah, you won.
We were at the pool. On
You
Saturday,
won.
and it was glorious.
Yeah, yeah. We did pool. Me and Bootsy
really
did
was.
pool day yesterday. The older two they played hoops at the Q, or I guess Rocket
That's
Mortgage.
awesome.
So that was pretty cool.
How?
Through their AAU thing.
That's really cool. I would
Yeah.
say, as
So
a
they
matter of fact.
had a little play. NBC with a pretty bold move out of him. So his
baby.
basketball shoes. He's a 9.5. So I'm a 10. He's a 9.5. His basketball shoes didn't fit him anymore.
Oh boy.
Apparently.
Your shoes are going to be his
So
shoes,
he went-
my friend.
Oh boy. So he went into my closet. I
Yep.
have boxes of shoes that have never been worn or that I've won on StockX or Sneakers, or I guess Sneakers app wins. My
Those
guy,
are few and far between. I'd imagine.
not many, no.
Yeah.
My guy pulled out a pair of Kobe's from like 10 years ago that I had never worn and hooped in them. Bold job out of you, buddy.
Hold on a second.
Oh, yeah.
Without asking, without notification.
He said that his didn't fit, and I said, well, you can wear some of mine. Assuming that you could pick literally any of the others would be great. I mean, that's not like a priceless shoe, but it's so that was his move.
What'd you say?
Well, not those, bud.
Too late.
Too late. Done.
So now is he keeping them?
No, now I guess I'll wear them.
Yeah, well, now you got to.
Now there's no choice. I've got to at this point.
Yeah.
So that's where we are in that. So that was our Sunday. We had a little bit of a practice here yesterday. Looks like we were spinning it down the field, my friend.
We had a nice practice yesterday, and Deshaun Watson was in fine form. Everybody had to acknowledge it. Yeah, he was throwing the ball very well. Amari Cooper had a great day. It was good to see. It was, our defensive line is a problem. I mean, Myles Garrett pretty much makes it.
He wrecks practice
So
regularly.
he and Za'Darius. But when Deshaun did have time to throw, he was throwing darts, and he and Amari were very much in sync. And it was fun to watch. It was a pretty intense practice. I was able to take it in, get the film study on it. Lots of little wrinkles too, some option stuff, which I thought was fun to see. I think this offense is gonna be much more fun than I think people realize this year.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, as you and I talk about all the time, though. Like everyone just wants to see it.
Yeah.
I'm never one to rush August along. I enjoy it. I used to enjoy it a lot more before all the football practicing and stuff that I have to do. I love that too, but it just basically summer's over for me August 1st.
Yep.
In terms of having true freedom.
Yep.
But I am to the point now where I would like to just let's just get to September. And let's go play some games because I really don't need to see us. I'm excited that we get to see some ones against Kansas City, and I saw that 20 to 25 plays. It's fun, but I don't really need to. I'd like to just get to Cincinnati. Let's just go.
And it's not going to be every starter, as Kevin Stefanski said, but I'm with you. Let's get Cincinnati and getting I got my beak wet on a little bit of Madden, and I'm playing as the Browns in like a franchise, and Oh boy, it's just like we already know schedule, but Bengals, Steelers, Ravens in your first 4 games, like it's legit.
Hard hat.
It's going to be fun.
Gates.
Well, I will say again, I mentioned it briefly about Miles, but like I'm pretty sure in the first team period, if the first 4 plays that happened, I think he got sacks on all 4 of them.
Yeah, he's
like literally on all 4 of them.
He's unblockable. Yeah, and that's
good. He's
that's
on our
gonna
team.
Yeah, no kidding. That's gonna make it. You think about week 1 with Cincinnati. Burrow still hasn't practiced. You're 3 weeks of practice before you're playing a game.
Yeah,
but so you got time. But he has still not practiced down there, and doesn't appear that there's any sort of immediacy to him returning to it.
So what do you think is going to happen there?
Well, I think they think he's going to play. I think they think he's going to play, but what did he do? Like 2 training camp practices or 1?
Yeah, that's it.
He's been out for 3 weeks, or 4, something like that. So I get confused because we started a week earlier than them, so I can't remember if they're on our schedule.
Didn't he throw like 4 picks in the opener last year against the Steelers, and they lost?
He did. Yeah, down there. Yeah, he struggled out of the gates. But again, remember last year he had appendicitis.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
He hasn't had normal.
Yeah,
he hasn't had one normal veteran preseason. Training camp with the Bengals. So
and also Joe Mixon is a little testy down there right now.
That should have been headed off a long time ago. So for folks who don't know, the Mixon will not speak to 4 members of the Bengals media.
4
of them, and
including
our guys,
your boy,
like
right? Ben Baby.
Ben Baby we have all the time. Jay Morrison we have on all the time. Those are both great friends of the program. James Rapine, and then I'm blanking on the reporter for the Cincinnati Enquirer. But how does it get there to where, and then his agent is fighting it in the press?
Yeah.
On Twitter. Like, jeez.
It's good.
There's no winner there.
It feels good. A little distractions down there. That's fine. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Couple other notes. Conklin did return to the locker room during practice yesterday. Elijah Moore, Conklin, Matthew Adams, all limited. You had Anthony Schwartz and Cam Mitchell both walk off the field with trainers. Batonio with the Veterans Day off. You mentioned Amari, Denzel going head-to-head a lot. Ronnie Hickman around the ball.
Yeah, Rocket Hickman, he's rocketing his way maybe into contention to make this roster. He's got those 3 picks and then, added another one in practice yesterday. So, yes, he has been playing very well for the Cleveland Browns and makes that safety, corner situation. It's complicated. We went through it. It's going to be tough. One thing that to note from yesterday, Jakeem Graham was the only person taking punts, the only one in practice.
Noteworthy.
So there's a part of me that thinks like maybe he's on this roster, and then if he is on this roster and Goodwin is good to go, you're either carrying 7 receivers or David Bell and Watkins are not making it.
Yeah, for sure.
And/or
could be both. Yeah. Well, we did the numbers game last week.
It's tough. I mean, there are probably 58 guys that they want to keep, and they'll keep 53.
And you have to do that dance of like, who can we get through to the practice squad? Who can we, who's vulnerable, that type of thing.
And we still have to carry, as we've talked about, we have to carry Alex Wright even though he's injured. We have to carry him to the initial 53 to then put him on.
Yeah. Big Thanos getting some reps at left tackle.
I like that. I like that. I like it a lot.
How'd he do?
Interested to see. He did fine. It's obviously not as natural for him, and he didn't have, I would say this was not his best practice that he's had yet. But I thought that he did a good job, and it didn't look as unnatural as I thought. Obviously, he's more comfortable at right tackle right now. That's his natural footwork. But it was good to see him out there. Yeah, Big Thanos is a talented guy, and it's only a matter of time. Hopefully you don't need him. You can just give him that whole year to develop. But if we do need him, I feel very confident that he will be ready.
I'm not sure there's a ceiling for his ability, intellect, athleticism, and Bill Callahan's teaching.
Yeah,
like the combination of that that feels like that's sky's the limit. Like
it's a chance to be a
Pro Bowl,
multiple-time Pro Bowler, tenured
type
guy. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you just don't have you can't create that size It's just there, man. You can't coach that size and that athleticism, which is what he has. Really been one of the great stories of camp. Coach said post-game that he expects starters to play 20 to 25 minutes against the Chiefs on Saturday. That's going to be a burner. Is that a 1 o'clock?
Noon local. Yeah, it's going to be a scorcher. I also wonder, the Chiefs have played Mahomes every preseason game. Do they do that again? Do they go with their
I talked to you about this last week. Like, nobody knows. Like, everyone's doing this differently.
And Mahomes is good, by the way.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Jumping out of bounds and throwing it across his body.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. Did you see by the way, so is Justin Ross. Speaking of Scarlett, Clemson. Did you see the shake route he had?
On this week's game?
Weekend? Yeah.
No. I saw a lot of Rashee Rice.
They have a ton of weapons. If Ross goes the way that his abilities are.
Do you think he could be, starting? Is he working with Mahomes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was Mahomes. Yeah, he did it was a shake out in, or maybe inverted out. The shake was out, and he just left him in the dust. I want to say Eckley's running the out, brought it back in. It was crazy. So there's a lot of talent, but yeah, nobody knows what they're doing. So Rodgers is going to play this week against the Giants, but who knows if Dimes is going to play? Tua played this weekend.
Right.
I would think he would be bubble wrap. Why would you put him in any sort of
potentially get a concussion? Right.
Yeah. These coaches nobody has a clue what to do with this. So what does this week look like for us?
So this is going to be, like I said, this is going to be a regular game week. So tomorrow, Tuesday, the players are off today. Tomorrow, Tuesday, will be a Wednesday practice.
Okay. So yesterday was their – okay.
Yesterday was
they back-timed it from yesterday?
One of the last, I think, probably real training camp practices was yesterday. I think tomorrow starts a normal week, and then I think we're going to be doing some game planning for the Bengals, not the Chiefs.
Correct.
For the Bengals. Yeah. So tomorrow will be a normal Wednesday. Wednesday will be a normal Thursday. Thursday will be the normal Fast Friday, walk through Friday, and travel to Kansas City, game Saturday, and you're back. And then after that, you'll have the cut down.
That's that Saturday?
I believe the cut down is, let's see. I think it's following that game.
Cut down day.
Tuesday, maybe?
Tuesday, 5 o'clock, I believe.
Okay.
Following.
It's either 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. You'll start seeing things
8 days
come out.
from now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tuesday, August the 29th.
Week from tomorrow, cut down day. Okay.
Yep.
And then you'll have the rest of that week, and then you'll have
that'll be your initial
Labor
53,
Day,
and then you'll probably have within the next 48 hours, if there are any changes from that initial 53, claims happen.
Yeah.
And then you'll go into Labor Day, and then you'll come out of Labor Day, starting with a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday set of practices.
Yep.
You'll probably practice that Monday, Tuesday off. So you'll have that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's when
Sunday.
Baker went to Yellowstone Club with Jarvis and Odell and Hoop. Remember? It was on that Labor Day weekend. They went out there for 3 days, and because it's kind of like you go through this whole camp, then you have the way the schedule is now, you go through this whole camp, and then you have 2 weeks before you play a game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a different. We've been in this for a while, this calendar for a little bit of a while, but you kind of have this extended weekend.
You have that time, but you'll see. I'll be curious what the plan will be for the guys, because that's your time. Also, you got to get ready for the Bengals. That's when when we're getting serious.
It feels to me like in an ideal world, you play the last preseason game this Friday, say.
Yeah, you played on a Thursday
or Thursday,
and give them a weekend,
and then the next weekend you start the season.
That's right.
Rather than two weeks in between, lock it up, tighten it up a little bit. So, and maybe it gets maybe it gets there at some point. They've always kind of left Labor Day weekend to college football.
Yep.
But college football is going to have to back up. College football is going to have to start everybody this week to make the playoff work for them. So maybe at that point the NFL does as well and moves back their schedule to Labor Day. We'll see.
We will.
Are you enjoying the Madden?
It's very early. I mean, I'm just getting my feet wet. But so far, it's fun to see us. And, some of our guys are not as highly rated as probably you would like.
No white hats yet.
No white hats, so I could not find the white hat. I tried. It was the first thing I tried to do.
Me too. I looked right into it.
But yeah, so it's good. Just I feel the gameplay in the sense of it's pretty much a completion or an interception is annoying. I do think that the new way they were doing passing, like for whatever reason, I can press the button. I feel like the same way both times, and like one time it's a perfect pass, and the next time it's inaccurate. And it's just like, and he throws it like off the planet, like not even close.
Yeah.
So that's no fun. But yeah, I think it's too much. It's basically it's either a completion or an interception. Like the ball does not hit the ground a whole lot.
I was telling you before we started, I played one half of us against the Bengals in the opener, and Burrow was 10 of 13 he had 3 touchdowns and 3 picks at half and like 220 yards passing. Like you couldn't stop. He just went. Psst, psst,
Yeah.
Psst, psst. Now we couldn't stop us either. We went. Psst, psst, psst. Watson was 9 of 12 or 9 of 13? No, he's 9 of 12, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. The ball was either a touchdown or an interception.
Yeah, basically.
For both quarterbacks, the whole half. And I just shut it down. I said, I'm going to go back to FIFA.
You said that's it.
That's it. I don't need it. I don't need any.
Are the boys getting into Madden at all?
Yeah, but they're all into it in a different way than you and I were. They all want the Ultimate Team packs. I came down like, Dad, we got a Hoff, an 86 Hoff. We got a Hoff. Great. Awesome. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what are you going to do with this? It just seems like they like
your left
opening
tackle.
packs. Yeah, but then who do you play against?
Other people with their Ultimate Teams.
I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't understand it. But aren't you all getting from the same pool? So like he kept ripping packs because we bought like the one with where you get the whatever. And so he kept ripping packs. I'm like, he's like, these are all like, they were all like 70s or whatever. And I'm like, I said, would it make sense? And I don't know the answer to this. Would it make sense to like wait a month when the cards are better, or do you just rip them?
Yeah, but then people want to. That's how they make all the money. You constantly want to have the best guy. So like, if you want to keep your team going with the best guys, you constantly need to go.
Right.
Otherwise,
it's
like
a scam.
if you, oh my God.
Just like 2K. Same thing with 2K.
Yes.
Where I get these VC charges for $20.
Tell them
then I got to go hunt it down.
Tell them it's a bad deal. If you're gonna go, they got to pop you for the hundo, because that will get them so much more than doing $20 5 times.
Oh, that's good information. So if they're going to do it, you do it one time, do the hundo, and then you crush it.
Yeah, then you get so much more bonus VC.
Oh, okay.
All
yeah.
Right.
So I'll tell them that.
1-100.
If they want to go in together on a
1-100.
Because I'm not paying for it.
1-100 is worth
theirs.
way more than 520s.
Okay, good to know. That's a good note. I'll put that in my notes.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to share with you. So you're familiar with the HBO show Winning Time?
Yeah, but I haven't. There's too much right now.
No, there's too much. I'm not asking you to watch it. I'm just going to tell you that they. I watched a little bit over this weekend and caught up. We're into like the 82 season.
So they had just won.
So they won it in 80. Then 81, the Celtics win it.
Okay.
So you get a little bit of Bird backstory in the first couple of episodes. Then
with the Celtics winning it, and then
there's fighting inner fighting with the Lakers.
Is Riley?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet. So 82 is when that happens.
Okay.
Is when. I mean, this is all historical. Like I'm not ruining anything
for
anybody, but they follow it pretty closely. The reason I want to bring it up to you. The episode from yesterday was the Larry Bird episode. It's like, this is how Bird became Bird. So it was his upbringing, like the fact that Bob Knight basically didn't protect him at IU and he went back home. So Bird tried out for the Indiana State basketball team in work boots and jeans.
And lit him up.
In a scrimmage and scored like 48 against their A team. The coach talked him into playing. He was like working at a bar, or like in a restaurant, and he would play like pickup in the street. And the coach talked him in for a tryout, and he scored like 40-some points. But that's all the folklore, and apparently that part's true. This was the coolest thing, though, to me. The guy that they cast to play Bird not only resembles Bird, he shoots just like him. And apparently the guy he was a college basketball player. He wore 33 for Bird. Dude, the shot, it's the Bird shot.
Yeah.
Crushes it.
How's his trash talk? Is it Bird?
Good.
Birdian?
Just humorless and just nonstop, straight to the point. It's the best. To me, it's probably and the guy that got playing Magic's pretty good too.
Yeah.
But the guy they've got playing Bird is probably the closest facsimile to an actual actor to an athlete I've ever seen. It's that good. The way that he
Is it the same guy from season 1?
It is. Yeah. Yep. Same act.
He just
he resembles him a
little bit.
But
he also looks like a guy who has no chance of ever being in the NBA. But I guess Bird sort of looked that way as well.
So this dude's when you watch this guy can play.
Okay.
And it makes sense. I looked it up immediately. Like, who is the actor doing this? So I looked it up. They're like, oh yeah, he played in college, was a player, Northern California, I think, high school player, then played in college, and his idol was Bird, like War 33, all of it.
Yeah.
He looks like they perfectly cast it.
That's awesome.
The basketball part of it.
Is this season as good?
It's, I think it's fine, but I mean, like, my wife really likes it. I know all this stuff.
Sure.
So for me, it's kind of like there's no real surprises here because I know how this all goes. John C. Reilly is pretty damn good as Bus.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
How long are they going to keep this going?
The big talk over the weekend, like they have to get ratings to get a third season because HBO has a much more, since they went to Max and all that, they have a much more strict, like, how they're spending their money.
Yeah.
So in the old HBO days, they probably could go all the way through the 80s, which is what the plan was, to go all the way to the HIV announcement. But I don't know if they'll get there now because the ratings are down a little bit. But they're in the strike, so no one can promote anything.
And it's
a bad time of year.
It's a bad time of year.
The last one,
we needed this like in the summer.
The last one debuted after March Madness. It was in April.
Yeah, right. Perfect.
That's when it should be, not football.
Not going into football season.
Good though. The guy playing Bird has got the shot down.
By the way, are you watching Gemstones?
Yeah, I watched all of it. It's done.
It's done?
Yeah.
Should I just binge it? Everybody keeps telling me it's great.
Dude, first of all, it's McBride.
No, yes, Goodman and that Adam kid. I love that kid.
Dude,
I like all of them.
Uncle Baby Billy. Like Walton Goggins. Have you seen Uncle Baby Billy?
No.
Do you know what I'm dealing with?
No. I haven't seen any of it. You said, I remember the first season you were not that into it.
Yeah.
But supposedly
it's gotten,
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, just so you're
did
aware
they just
of what
lean
you're
into the
dealing with.
comedy of it? Oh my God. Yeah, that guy's going to be great.
Uncle Baby Billy.
Yeah.
Yes, they leaned all in on the comedy of it.
That's what they should have done.
Which is what, yeah.
Okay.
So, like, the last season was just nonsense.
Was just pure joy.
It was great.
All right,
it's
good.
just like what he did with Eastbound, where,
Yep.
like, there was some stuff that's like, boy, that took a serious tone there.
Yeah.
Stay in the fun, maybe, is a better way to do that.
Yeah.
All right, lots to get to. We will go around the NFL. As I mentioned, everybody's approaching this very, very differently. You'll also have, we're going to do a little fantasy, it looks like, with John Hansen going to join us coming
the guru.
up in the second hour, the guru. Greg Newsome from the podium as well. We're off and running on a Monday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Be sure to catch the Browns preview show tonight at 7. Ken and Gerard on the University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. The voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan, and Brown Center Ethan Posick join the program then as we go around the National Football League. Let's do the football first, and we'll get into the Monday Night Countdown stuff. The Eagles have released former Browns second-round pick Greedy Williams on Saturday.
Yeah.
You were over there. What was going on with their guy? Just
too many corners. I mean, he was like 8th or 9th on their depth chart.
Yeah.
So,
He's had such promise for us as a
in 2021, he was
that year
quite
2?
good. Yes, in 2021, it was 2020. 2020, he was quite good.
COVID.
I want to say 2021. 2021. He was good. He had 1 year with us that was. No, I'll have to look this up now.
Yeah, you're up.
I know I'm up.
Oh, I didn't know if you did or not. I saw it. You get. Yeah.
Am I getting a little
Did you
feedback?
want to weigh something? No, you're good. You sound
I think
good.
it was a rough day for the Williams family. He showed promise, but then he had that really bad injury.
Well, the injury came. No, 2021. I was right. 2021 was his good year. He was out all of 2020.
Yeah.
With that shoulder injury. 2021, he played in 16 games with 8 starts, 2 picks, 10 passes defensed. He had a really good year, and then last year it just went away. It got rough in the preseason, and then it was very, very tough. So that was it. I wonder if he'll land anywhere. I wonder if we'll give him a look back here, or if that's pretty much the end of the road for him.
I would think with his talent, someone would kick the tires, right? I mean, he's shown an ability to do it in the league. You'd think that there'd be somebody who would, and he's still young.
He showed it for one season, really, is the sad part. He's only
Injured.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you wonder if that shoulder, it was great seeing him. I got to talk with him in Philly. He's such a nice guy. You could tell all the guys on our team really, really like him. But, yeah, he was really good in 2021, and then last year just fell off a cliff and was not – they really couldn't even put him out on the field last year. And when he was in coverage, I mean, he was torched last year. He gave 90% completions, 18 yards a catch,
Jeez.
2 touchdowns, a quarterback rating of 158.3 when targeted, which, as you guys know,
I never would have known that.
That's the max. So it was rough.
I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. His brother was released the same day.
Yes.
Rodarius released the same day. Miles Jack calling it a career after just 7 seasons. Former Jaguars, Steelers, and then Eagles for just a couple of weeks. He signed with Philly on August 6th and shutting it down.
Yeah, he was playing in the 4th quarter of the preseason game against us.
I remember when I saw that, I remember you saying that, bringing attention to that last week when we did the show. You were like, Miles Jack was out there in the 4th quarter.
And he's coming off of 3 straight 100-tackle seasons, and I guess he's just
There were
enough.
a couple guys in that game.
Yeah, all of those linebackers that they signed.
Yeah, they were all playing like well into the 4th
Zach
quarter.
Cunningham, Morrow. They signed 3 guys who have multiple 100-tackle seasons. They signed them all this offseason to play linebacker for him. Yeah, he's got – Miles Jack was a second-round pick in the 2016
UCLA, right?
draft out of UCLA. That's right. Big Pac-12 guy. Love it.
Yep.
And, his last 3 seasons, 118 tackles, 108 tackles, 104 tackles last year. That was his first year with the Steelers. And, looks like he's hanging it up.
He's
It's
only
weird.
27.
They weren't even sure he was going to make the team when we were in Philly. I was like, what do you mean Miles Jack might not make the team? They're like, he might not make the team. I'm like, he definitely can play still.
You would think. Well, we would know. I mean,
They signed – so this offseason they signed him. They signed Zach Cunningham. You remember Zach Cunningham?
yeah.
Who I want to say may have even been a first-round pick? Second round as well. He was a second-round pick of the Texans out of Vandy. He led the NFL with 164 tackles in 2020. He had 3 straight years of 100-tackle seasons, and then he was banged up last year, so they signed him. And then they signed, I want to say it's Morrow was his last name. Yeah, Nick Morrow, who was a linebacker that played with the Bears last year and had a career-high 116 tackles himself. And they signed all 3 of those guys this offseason. So clearly they were looking for some tacklers in that linebacking room.
Yeah, just 27. That's something
Yeah,
to shut it down that way. But if you're done, you're done.
totally.
A couple of rookies played better in their second preseason games, both C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. C.J. looked pretty good. He looked a lot better. Pretty uneven in first time out. looked better in the game over the weekend. I think Bryce will be fine, too. The size is just going to be an issue for him always, but I think he's going to be pretty much fine there. Did you hear the comments from Aaron Rodgers on his what his plan is in New York?
No.
So he's in a sit-down. I'm not sure who the interview's with, but he's in a sit-down interview, and he says that he wants to play 3 to 5 and then give it to Zach for the next 15. So he wants to play 3 to 5 years in New York. Now, remember, though, the crazy thing is, like, Zach is so young that theoretically they could do that if he sat for 3 years.
Three
if
more?
Rodgers was 3 years this year and then 2 more.
So that would be the entirety of his rookie contract.
His entire rookie contract, yeah.
He'd be a very expensive backup when they pick up that 5th-year option.
Yes, he would be. Very much would be. Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be
Rodgers
expensive
did it.
backup the whole time. That
Yeah.
feels like maybe too long. I know that he certainly wants to play for a while. That's wild. Apparently, they are getting along great, and it's made an improvement. And what Wilson's
seen the
looking
Hard
better.
Knocks, right?
I haven't watched the whole second one. I just watched because you had told me to. I watched The Mentalist.
What did you make of that?
Either they're in on it.
You think Rodgers is in on it?
He didn't seem to be.
No.
Neither did McCole Hardman.
No.
But to get the score and the teams and have that, it just doesn't seem possible.
Dude, he pulled a card out of a deck, handed it to Rodgers, and had him open his hands, and it was a goldfish.
Yeah. I saw it. I saw it all. I love all that stuff. It's like what that guy did to me. The guy did it somehow. And somebody's like, "Oh, your wife was." She was not.
No.
Irregardless, it doesn't change the fact that
Doesn't make sense.
that I tore up the card,
Right.
and then the card was back together with my signature on it.
Yeah.
They did not have. I didn't sign 2 cards.
No. Signed one.
1 card
Ended up in your shoe.
in my shoe, whole, like Esteban.
Oh.
No, chewed.
What do you make, by the way? You talked about guys doing better in their second games. What do we make of the Colts' decision not to play Anthony Richardson in the second preseason game?
I don't know. You got to give him all the reps he can, I think.
Don't you need to get him ready?
Yeah, I would want to get him every rep that I could get him.
Why are we sitting out rookie QBs that are going to start day one?
So, I'm telling you guys, this is my nobody knows what to do with this preseason.
No.
These coaches don't know what to do with it. They don't know what they should play in. I want to see.
It'll be a good research project. Who changed it? Because for a while, preseason was all the same.
Standard.
It was standard. The first game they played a drive. The second game they played a quarter. The third game was the big tune-up, and they would play at least a
Dress
half.
rehearsal,
Dress
baby.
rehearsal, and then the fourth game they would not play.
Yep.
Who was the one that was like, that's not how we're doing it anymore?
Do you want? Let's do a little guess of stats
Okay.
with you two.
Can't wait to fail.
Talked about Anthony Richardson, that he needs snaps, needs reps. All right. He was a 3-year player at Florida. Okay, 3-year player at Florida. How many games do you think he played in 3 years at Florida?
The max would be what, like 30?
Yeah, 36,
6.
30.
Okay.
Well, more than that. It'd be more like 40 probably.
Okay. I say
Yeah.
20.
8.
12. And in one of the seasons, he only attempted a total of 2 passes. In his first season, he only attempted a total of 2 passes. So he played a total of 12 games at Florida. What do you think his completion percentage was in his
54.
junior season at Florida?
54.
61.
53.8. Nailed it. 25, 49 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, 9 picks.
Yeah, he's more.
He is a project,
Yeah.
coach.
So all the more
Project.
reason that you better be playing him.
He's the
Right.
guy that they should have played Minshew. Like, they have Minshew. He knows the offense. They could have played Minshew for most of the season.
That sounds like the owner.
Well, it could be. But there was also some talk that maybe they're trying to tank a little bit so they can pick high again next year, maybe get Marvin Harrison Jr. if they're bad enough. But Richardson is going to struggling
Yeah.
bigly.
Well, and your running back currently doesn't seem to want to participate in things.
I mean,
So,
when's the last time we had somebody a 54% passer, 17 touchdowns, 9 picks, 2,300 yards, who was picked that high in the NFL draft? I mean, that just doesn't.
No.
That just doesn't happen anymore.
Is that like Jake Locker? But he played a lot. But wasn't his completion percentage something
was down
like that
too
in college?
Yeah. Richardson ran for 654. So it's not like he wasn't like John Football, 3,000 passing, 1,000 rushing, or Cam or anything like that. It wasn't that in any way.
All right, here's Jake Locker because that's the first one that came to my mind. Jake
Washington.
Locker, Washington. Yeah, he graduated. He was 8th overall, and his career completion percentage at Washington was 54%.
What was he his last year?
55.4. 17 touchdowns, 9 picks.
Same. How'd that go?
Not good. His best running season was his freshman year. He ran for 986 yards and 13 touchdowns, but every year after that it was under 406 touchdowns, so he wasn't a runner.
Well, and the other thing both those cats have in common is they were guys who people fell in love with them in the draft process. Tested well, arms, all that. That's how that went.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's nobody. I agree with you. Like, there needs to just be like a uniformity. Like, this is what the preseason is. 3 games. First one you get a series. Second one, 2 series. Third one is a half, and then you got 2 weeks off, so you're done.
And there you go. Right.
And that's it. Because some of these games, some of these individual games, the approach is completely different for both coaches. And we saw 2 of the. I know that the Patriots and Titans canceled their joint practices.
Really?
That was canceled today. There was another one. 2 teams over the weekend canceled theirs.
And there was a canceling of the game.
They shut the game off.
They shut the game off after that
I
scary
want to say it was
injury.
a Colt. Was it the Colts? Did they
They
cancel?
canceled joint practice? The Colts are going to the Eagles, I thought.
There's 2 joint practices that were canceled.
Tampa Bay was slated to do joint practices with the Jets, and they got canceled. And the Jets then were practicing at the Giants facility one day last week. I remember seeing that. Like, they were supposed to be there to practice. And
Texans joint practices canceled with Saints. That was 14 hours ago. And the Patriots canceled their joint practices with the Titans.
There you go.
Following the injury to Isaiah Bolden, which is the one that stopped the game. They said obviously the seriousness of the injury was part of it. Felt like after the Green Bay game we had a little time locker room, looked at the situation, made the decision that the best thing for the team would be to come back here and not go to Tennessee. Hard decision. We'd like to work against them, try to balance it. A number of things involved, so we came back Sunday.
There you go. So 4 teams, 2 joint practices canceled. Different reasons, but nevertheless.
Why did the other one get skipped? Why the Saints Texans?
I don't know.
And I'm telling you, Tampa Bay was practicing.
There was another, speaking of Tampa Bay, there was a weird post-game presser with Kyle Trask. He was asked why Baker didn't play, like he's in this competition with Baker. And he's like, why were you curious why Baker didn't play and you did? And Trask kind of gave this, I can only control what I can control, like that type of answer, but it felt like there was more to it.
And he played well.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yep.
Feels like he's not going to start. I mean, it just feels that Baker's going to start.
Feels like a lock. And I don't, like, they drafted him
in the second
round. Like, wouldn't you want to play him a little bit?
Because it's not, all accounts are that it's not like it's been one-sided battle.
No.
So, a couple things. One from the Texans. Their announcement was our 2 teams have mutually agreed to cancel the joint practices that were scheduled in New Orleans this week. After our head coaches spoke earlier today, we decided this was in the best interest of both teams as we continue to prepare for the regular season. A revised practice schedule will be sent out. No reason. This one, Jets Tampa Bay, a routine week of preparation suddenly took a turn for Tampa Bay last Wednesday when Jets coach Robert Saleh canceled the second of the team's 2 joint practices in order to avoid a potentially contentious second session.
So they were
Interesting.
fighting.
And then Tampa Bay had to go practice. The Giants opened up their facility to allow Tampa Bay to practice.
There you go. This just now out of Cincinnati. Zach Taylor joking with the media down in Cincinnati in terms of how much work he needs to see from Joe Burrow before starting week 1. 1 rep.
He's probably not wrong.
I thought he probably want a little bit more. It's just, is it ever going to end?
I think he'd like him to sign his contract.
Well, I don't know I don't know what's going on there. Nobody down there's worried about it. I'll tell you that. So I don't know if they're trying to figure it out to where they can all stay. all take a little bit less, Higgins, Chase, and Burrow, so that they can all stick together. It feels like that's in play. We'll see.
We
shall see.
We
ESPN.
will see.
You want me to do this ESPN story or you want to break?
We'll do it next segment.
There you go.
By the way,
Go ahead.
and that's something for next segment as well. Did you see what Victor Hovland did at Olympia Fields, which
You've played.
I've played, and I am flabbergasted by what he did.
28 on the back.
7 under. He made 7 birdies in
28,
9 holes.
right?
Yeah.
On the back. Yeah. All right. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Serious Lawyers, Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. ESPN revamped its Monday night NFL countdown. Susie Colbert is out, replaced by longtime anchor Scott Van Pelt, Marcus Spears, Ryan Clark, RG3, Adam Schefter, Michelle Beisner-Buck. Joe Buck's wife is now she's in the mix. Alex Smith and Larry Fitzgerald also in the mix. I got to tell you, I like the random moss. You got mossed?
Yes, I liked all that stuff. By the way, I didn't realize that Susie was related to Stephen Colbert.
Luckily, you had me having enough institutional knowledge of Susie Colbert and Susie Colbert to know that those are different humans. And I did get that one right. Yeah.
Uno!
No S. Young. No S. Young. No R. Moss.
No
Hasselbeck.
Fine with no Stevie. That's addition by subtraction. But Randy Moss.
That's
a big loss.
Yeah, that to me it feels like it was. I don't know whatever happened to Randy Moss. They're trying to figure out Susie Colbert versus Susie Colbert.
Yeah. Kolber.
Correct.
That's right.
That's correct.
I know.
Yeah. She was on. She anchored the
crushing it today.
You're killing it. She anchored
Uno
the
sent
first
me a
ever.
great email earlier. Uno was playing with house money. He just has less house money now.
Less now. She hosted the first ever show. They used to do a show called ESPN Tonight on ESPN2, and it was her and Keith Olbermann.
Oh man!
And Olbermann's like in a leather jacket.
And she was, I think there were lawsuits threatened, and she was like, "Get me off of this show."
She was like 24 or something
And
at that time.
it
That was
was-
like in mid-90s. She did that.
RG3's really ascended.
They love him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love him. Marcus Spears has been on their SEC coverage for the longest time, so he gets the move over, and then Ryan Clark's been there. But yeah, I like the random moss. I'll tell you what though, you know what's a big difference to me? My guess is on a price per show variable, going from Randy Moss, Steve Young, Matt Hasselbeck.
So Moss
to
is
this
still going
guest.
to do ESPN.
Yeah, but
just
I'm sure
on
it's
Sundays.
I'm sure it's his daily rate versus Ryan Clark's
Yeah,
or
I'm
Marcus
sure
Spears, significantly more would be my guess.
They got two for the price of one, probably.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Victor Hovland, go.
So this course is brutal. It is so hard. So hard.
All right, so you're basically a scratch, right?
Close.
And
yeah.
you played did you play the tips
whites.
there? So you played the member tees
Yeah.
and you shot
73.
okay.
From the member tees on a par 70. The whites. There's the blues, and then they play the blacks. From the blacks, it's rated almost 78, and it's in the slopes in the 150s. So that means from the blacks, a true scratch is going to shoot on average 77, 78 on a par 70. And this dude shot a 61. What? He went 7 under on the back nine. There's only one par 5 on the back nine. It's like 590. These guys can reach it because they can reach anything. That's the other thing I was saying to my buddies. Like, I hit the ball a decent length. These guys all hit it 320. Every single one of them.
Yeah,
at a
it's
minimum.
all pure. It's all, and it doesn't matter if it's not because they can. They're so far down there that they can.
But like, a lot of these par 4s are 490 on the back. They just make. And the greens there are not easy. One thing that is wild to me is how little TV accurately shows elevation changes.
Well, that happened first time I played Muirfield.
It's wild.
And I went, oh, this is not how I thought it was in any way, shape, or form.
So 14 at Olympia, you hit off of off of a very elevated tee, fairway below you. Anything that misses the fairway right's in water. Anything that goes left is in the trees in jail. You can't get much closer than maybe 150 yards for your second shot, which goes over water and then straight up, like there's a wall of grass, and then the green sits up on top of that. It's like a blind second shot.
Okay.
It's one of the hardest holes, and for them, they played at like 475.
Yeah.
Like, it's absurd.
Yeah.
And they were all birdieing it. Like, for him to make, and then... So that's 14. 15's the par 5. 16's a downhill for them, 200-yard par 3. He birdied that too. And then you have 2 long par 4s. He birdied 18. 18 is like 490. It's like
that's crazy.
There are no easy
So
holes.
what do they do? Do they change the driver of the ball?
I don't know. They got to do something. They're hitting it all too far.
You can't shoot 61 at a place like that.
No.
In the final round of a big time tournament like that.
No.
Can't have that.
Like,
So they're all bombing it too. They're bombing it too far. So you're going to have to either deaden the driver, or deaden the ball.
This is what really happened. It poured going into it, so they were able to kind of hold shots on the greens. That's one of the things that's very hard to do when that course is like crispy, and so I think it made it easier because 62 was the previous best, and that also happened this week. Sam Burns and Max Homa.
So you had 3 in the low 60s this week.
So that just shows though when they can. How good these guys are, so good. 61 is absurd on that course. Yeah. Absurd.
Yeah. Well,
none of these holes are easy.
Had 3 of them.
That's crazy.
All right, final hour up next. The Guru joins us. Get your pens out, your note-taking ready.
Yep.
Get it done. We'll do some fantasy coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet. Sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling leader in Cleveland, family owned and operated. They'll take care of your waste responsibly, whether you're a resident or a business. Learn more by visiting Rumpke.com. And now we head on to the Twisted Tea hotline. Brought to you by Twisted Tea, hard iced tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. He is John Hansen from SiriusXM Fantasy, owner of FantasyPoints.com, the guru joining us. Go ahead, Z.
And also the one of us that has actually been in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I think is as good as any of the other accolades on his resume. I don't know. Might be the best.
How you doing, buddy?
What's up, guys? I'm doing well. It is that time of the year. It's a good time to be alive. These next 2 to 3 weeks are going to be wild, the fantasy draft season.
When is the perfect draft day on this NFL calendar? If you could, anywhere you want it, where's the perfect place?
As long as we're outside of that third preseason game, the whole schedule is kind of messed up here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who's played for a while knows, like, it used to be like first game, we don't play our guys, then we get maybe a dress rehearsal, then that final preseason game, it's all backups and, roster bubble guys, but that's not necessarily the case. But I think we are good if we simply do our draft after, any time from a week today to the opener is ideal. Let's get all the games out of the way. That would be Sunday, this Sunday at 8 o'clock. Texans and Saints is the final game of the preseason. That is the ideal time to draft.
All right, and the ideal way to help yourself get prepared is to go to fantasypoints.com, get yourself a subscription. That's where you will get the Guru's 2023 fantasy football draft plan, plus the 70 players he likes the most in drafts this year, of course, with the Big 12, which are his top players in the top 100 that he keeps ending up with on his team. So let's just take from a top level, and obviously where you pick matters a lot, but just kind of generally speaking, trends or thoughts you want people to have going into drafts. What should kind of the overarching, manifesto be for people?
I think it's to get into the wide receiver business. I think people are drafting wide receivers more aggressively this year. There's a few reasons why. The young stud receivers are really hard to come by. They're big-time league winners. They're more available than the running backs, which are, the running backs are being dropped down the board a little bit, getting devalued by the markets. So if for optimal roster construction, in my opinion, I think it's one of those you can't beat them, join them situations at wide receiver because, you might think, I'm going to zig when they zag, and you go running back heavy, and then all of a sudden your number one receiver is a guy that's like ranked 57th on everyone's board. So I like to balance it out, but emphasis this year on wide receiver. There are very high number of running backs that you can get a little bit later that are good targets in rounds 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even beyond, like a James Cook in Buffalo, or of course my guy Rachaad White. And then just let the draft come to you. There's no reason to go heavy on quarterback. I'm not into the top guys ever. I used to be a big Jalen Hurts guy the last 2 years, but guess what? Now I'm out because he's QB3. Your guy, Deshaun Watson, has been one of my top ROI guys. I know the preseason hasn't been stellar, but that could be completely meaningless. I love the weaponry, and, the cheat code is in effect. I love me some Cedric Tillman, as I've told Nathan already. Great kid, and he's kicking butt.
Yeah, it's for sure. I mean, you see it on the field. That's the thing that's tough this time of year, though. You see these guys, in a preseason game, or for us with Tillman, who has these moments. I've seen Justin Ross make all these plays down in Kansas City, but then you wonder how it translates onto the games that actually matter. How do you go, and obviously you do it better than anybody, but how do you go about deciding what's fact and what's fiction in the preseason in camp?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, if a guy that is, down on the depth chart a little bit, like Tillman, is certainly not starting, as you guys know.
Yep.
But if the tape that you saw is confirmed, oftentimes I know people think preseason isn't all that great, but, I like to get my little thoughts confirmed in the preseason. And, for running backs, how do they look in the preseason? Tajay Spears is a great example. I was a huge Tajay Spears person the entire offseason. He's the rookie for Tennessee. He's a little bit of a tweener. He's not the biggest guy, so can he do it in the NFL? I know it's only preseason, but the guys look fantastic the last 2 weeks. So yeah, my love of Tajay Spears has already been confirmed to me. I also think at times, and this year's a little tricky, but with quarterbacks, I feel like you can kind of tell even in preseason early if they have it or not. I remember I go way back to Russell Wilson in 2012. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like, this guy looks like he's been around 5 years. Like, I think this is real, and it was. Dak Prescott is another good example. So, every situation you got to cherry pick, and look at every situation individually. But I do get a lot out of the preseason.
Which is fun because that gives you something to watch there. It gives people something to watch and digest in these games because we know a lot of people are getting ready for fantasy football. I want to ask you about a particular position and see, we know who the top is, Travis Kelce, but at the tight end spot, who are some of the guys that you like in the middle rounds? And then maybe is there somebody late that you think can be a nice upside play?
Well, I am in on Kyle Pitts.
Okay.
Full disclosure, I was not last year. I held off even though, transcendent type of talent here. I was a little skeptical at his cost, which is now down, 100%, basically. I mean, like he's, his ADP was 630 last year, 35. Now it's 60, 65. So I'll do that for sure. There's a guy with stud potential. I'm not counting on a breakout, but the buying opportunity is just too good to pass. And then Darren Waller, it's just one of those things. Like, you don't need me to tell you this, but if he stays healthy, he's going to kick butt. If he doesn't, he won't. But here's the bottom line. Talk about preseason. 31-year-old Darren Waller coming off a tough year. It didn't go well with the Raiders, but he can still do it. He's still got it. He's running really well in the preseason and showed well in the game the other night. So I love me some Darren Waller. And then the other guy, I'm going to go right to the man that Mr. Segura has pumped up to me for 2 years in a row, and I've always been a David Njoku person. Been a little slow going, but, from all accounts, still ascending.
Yep.
Still hasn't had, the career year, and I know the chemistry with Watson's looking pretty good, which we kind of saw last year. So I'm pretty darn high on David Njoku.
All right, I like that one, and I would agree with you on that one as well. I think for the Browns, obviously everybody knows Nick Chubb. I think Amari's still the number one receiver. I think Elijah Moore is going to get a ton of work. You got Chief, and then obviously the great Nick Chubb. But Deshaun Watson, I think, is going to be a very good fantasy quarterback this season. We see it in his legs and then his ability to really throw the football. And I would tell you, Guru, he's only played one drive in the preseason, and he's been been pretty good in practice and had yesterday one of the better days of practice he's had. So I'm not concerned about him. I want to ask you about kind of one area that I think in the past has always been kind of good value is finding, if you can, that rookie running back who's in the right situation where maybe they're an injury away, maybe they're in a timeshare situation. Tank Bigsby comes to mind down in Jacksonville. Maybe he's going to get goal line carries. We'll see if that actually ends up happening or not with ETN down there. But who are some of those young rookie running backs that you can get usually later in drafts that are not, to start, but they're kind of like those lottery ticket guys for you?
Yeah, I mean, Khalil Herbert's probably not that, but I do like him.
Yep.
I'm looking at guys going off the board like 100 plus. He isn't a dogfight for snaps, no doubt about it. I will absolutely go with my guy Tajay Spears. They're going to change things in Tennessee. Like, the old days are kind of over. They tried to trade Derrick Henry. They really found no takers, so they'll just roll with him. But they want to be a little bit more dynamic. They want to throw it. Tajay Spears, there's nothing this kid can't do on the field. Put him in the Wildcat, no problem. Return game, running it, obviously, short yardage. I mean, he's really good. I also love, and Nathan, as you know, I go to the Combine every year, and
Yep.
a lot of the reasons I go is just to chop it up with these guys. So I have my list of players I want to talk with and interview, and I get them set up. I did that with Spears. I also did that with Chase Brown.
Yep, with the Bengals.
Great dude. Twin brother in the NFL. Boy, he's jacked up too, by the way. I couldn't believe it. I watched him in the Mobile at the Senior Bowl for 3 days, and he looked good. I mean, he's not probably going to be like a Nick Chubb stud, but he's like a 1B type of guy. I think he'll carve out a role alongside Joe Mixon, and if Mixon does, in fact, go down, I think we're looking darn good there. Zamir White for now, but I think we are looking at Josh Jacobs likely getting into camp. He has no leverage before the opener here. Kenny Gainwell in Philly is it's going to be like an ugly three-headed monster.
Yeah.
But they do like him a lot in short yardage, as you guys may know from watching the Eagles-Browns. He's kind of their lead guy, so there's a good one right there. I'm not that big into Devon Achane. He's got a little hurt, by the way. I'm always skeptical of these smaller guys. But, I think I mentioned some good ones there. And we'll see about the Jonathan Taylor situation, because that is pretty darn scary to me right now. That'll be Evan Hall and then Deion Jackson kind of splitting that. I might go Evan Hall there if we have to go long-term on the chance that Taylor is traded.
Guru, you mentioned the Chief, mentioned Tillman as well. Who else do you like on our team for this year?
Well, I've tried to put in paperwork to adopt Elijah Moore a couple of times because I do love him as a son, but they're not getting back to me on that. Oversold him last year a little bit. Do not care, because if you have the gift of sight, then you know he's an absolute baller who commands the ball. So I do love him. Cooper, hey, rock solid last year. I've been a big DPJ guy as well, but a nice guy as well. Talk with him at the combine. I went right to DPJ, by the way. I didn't call him Donovan. I was like, what's up, DPJ? And didn't miss a beat, so we like that. Tillman, by the way, was a great kid. His dad
we like him.
But really nice guy. So I'm kind of really all in on you guys
on
here.
This offense,
all 5 starters returning on the O-line. I'm in.
How do you we had, I'm curious just your thought, the way you go about this, because we have this 6 games with Watson last year, and this, what we're going to do offensively is very, very different than what you got in the 6 games last year. As you're trying to prognosticate what this team specifically would look like offensively, where are you getting with that in terms of what it will look like?
I look at, honestly, the moves that they make or don't make, and they made the move for Elijah Moore.
Yep.
They made the move, and I thought this too. I think I talked with Nate before the draft that they're not done adding receivers, and lo and behold, they add Cedric Tillman. I think that says a lot. This time last year, I had a somewhat hot take about Kareem Hunt, who, by the way, I loved when he came out in 2017, but I thought I saw a clearly declining player. So I thought, well, he's probably on his way out, which has been the case, and they have not done really anything yet. I know Jerome Ford is on the shelf, so my takeaway and thought has been that the 2023 Browns will need less from guys not named Nick Chubb this year, which means they'll probably throw the ball more, right? Throw it around a little bit more with Deshaun Watson, who, by the way, I still can't get over the 2020 season that Watson had. I thought he was arguably the most brilliant quarterback that year from the pocket. It was a little bit of a rough start that year, but man, did he roll. It was impressive. So I still haven't forgotten that. It'd be fascinating to see if he can get back to that level, because that was a very high level, I thought.
And he's got the weapons. He's got the talent. We've seen some of those throws that you're talking about here in camp, and I can't wait to get to the regular season for it. I think that will be very, very fun. All right, this is one that I always like to ask, and I feel like maybe you've given the answer with Spears in Tennessee, but who's like the one guy that has found his way onto more of your teams that you've drafted than anybody else?
Oh, boy. Well, I'm going to go with a guy that I did oversell last year. I got a little excited. It actually reminded me of it reminds me of a tight end I got a little too excited about, and I had to apologize. That guy's name's Travis Kelce, and he's going to go down as the GOAT. So I actually once apologized. I am so sorry for pushing the future Hall of Famer, but it's the same team. It's Sky Moore. I'm a massive Sky Moore guy. Great kid. I go there. I look there first. Well, I look at the tape, and then I talked to the kid. We did a 20-minute interview with him on Sirius. I thought it was fantastic. Last year everything was tough. Andy V's offense is very complicated. You got to be on the same page. Like the verbal communication on the field, if you will, that Travis Kelce has kind of mastered. All offseason, Sky said all the right things about getting on the same page. He's a great kid. He's like a running back with the ball in his hand. Great short area burst. Great, huge hands, 10 inches plus. So I think he's going to lead the Chiefs in wide receiver catches and go down as the sleeper receiver of the year.
Let's go. Sky Moore, write that one down there. And Guru, tell them how they can get all your great content on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio and at fantasypoints.com.
Yeah, that would be 9 to no, my bad. 7 and 9. I almost changed my own show time. 7 and 9, Monday through Friday. And of course, fantasypoints.com. And if you are a data person, as you know, Nate, we did launch our own data company here, Fantasy Points Data, where we've got 750 plus data points on every play as we've charted the last 2 seasons. A massive endeavor, but a game changer. And we've got, some really good exotic stats. Like, how about this one? First read target share. In about 6 weeks, you call me back and I can tell you who is getting the highest percentage of first read targets for your Cleveland Browns.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's good
I
stuff.
like that. That is good stuff. That's fun. And that's stuff for people to be able to dive into, and then you can try to find your own little edges in there. I like that a lot.
100%, yeah. And the tool is very user-friendly as well to go through and sift through all the data, filtering that like you would not believe. So, yeah, we're fired up, and it's going to be another great year.
Certainly is.
Yeah,
Always great talking to you, my
the
friend.
guru.
You got it, fellas. Talk to you next time.
All right, that's John Hansen, the Guru Fantasy XM, fantasypoints.com. The Cleveland Browns 2023 schedule is here. Get your single game tickets now for all the great matchups at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/tickets to purchase today. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. in the history of this program, the first ever demerit for me.
I don't know
Lies.
about that. Yeah, I don't know.
Second,
Bold face.
Not
lies.
a ton. There aren't a ton.
there's less than a hand. Less than the
No
amount
way.
of digits on a hand demerits out of me.
At one point, I was keeping tabs on both of you.
Yeah.
There's no way
I
had
was
more
the
than
leader in the
5
clubhouse of
in-
that, by
there's
the way,
zero
but-
chance there's been more than 5. Zero chance. Now, to be fair, I have a head start because I can always hear myself
Yeah.
when they ask if we're ready.
Yeah.
So that's.
But
that's
don't
amazing.
ever say that because that gives a girl an out for just him not
But it's
paying
also
attention.
true.
It
It's
is true.
factually true.
It is
correct.
true that I have that. Now you could override that if you had your ears, if you had your headset in. As soon as I test, you could test as well.
I could, but then I
That
also
would be-
don't want, in case it's up.
That's true. That's true. Got to be plugged in, kids. All right, this is the Ringer. Danny Heifetz,
Like
top
it.
25 pass catching units.
How about this? How
Have you
about
looked at it?
this? I know where we're ranked. That's why I sent
I
this.
don't know where
I
we're
sent
ranked.
this to Gibbe.
Okay, I don't know where we're ranked.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to say, let me think. Let me just try to do. Here's what we're going to do. Let's have a little fun here, kids.
I think it's easier if you start at the top.
I'm
and
going
then
to start
try
at the top.
go
I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to
from
tell you the
there.
ones that I think for sure they would have ranked ahead
Okay.
of us.
Okay.
Okay. In no particular order. Cincinnati. Cincy. I'm going to go. This is pass catchers.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at him again. He's
Just skipping through life.
He's on a heater.
I'm going to go Cincinnati.
Okay.
I'm going to go Miami.
Yeah.
I'm
I like
going to
that.
go Eagles.
Yeah. I would be doing that as well.
I'm going to go there. Seahawks.
Okay.
So this is not running backs.
No, they're
Or do they put
count.
them in?
They count. Yeah.
49ers.
Yep. I like that.
Are you trying to do the top
I'm
10?
trying. No. I'm just trying to guess the ones that they would
People
have
that would
ranked
be
ahead of us. Chargers.
Yes.
Okay. I like the Chargers. Yep.
Um,
You're forgetting one.
is there an obvious one
Yeah.
that I'm missing?
Only one. It's always only one that I would call an obvious one.
Are they? Did they go with Jefferson Vikings just because Jefferson?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I would think that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would say we could be anywhere between 8 and 12.
Okay. You'd be right. We're at 9. We're at number 9.
All right.
The only one that's ahead of us that you did not list was Dallas, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, Jalen Tolbert, Tony Pollard, Jake Ferguson. Now, what's interesting to me about
So Lamb's higher end.
Yes.
He's the highest end.
and Cooks is high end.
He is.
He has 1,000 yards every year.
He does. He gets 1,000 yards every year. Yeah.
So it actually goes. They've got
Since he's got to be one.
Cincy 1, Philly 2,
Okay.
Niners 3, Seattle 4,
Okay.
Vikings 5, Chargers 6, Cowboys 7, Dolphins 8. Because Dolphins really have Tyreek Hill and Waddle, and then it's like,
But those two are.
yeah, Browns 9.
Where are the Jets?
Listen, now it gets weird.
Now it gets strange.
And you could make the case. I think you're right, 8 to 12 for us. I think that is right. We like, obviously, Elijah Moore, I think a little bit more than people outside do based on at least his production 2 years
Sure.
in the league.
It's fair.
But here's where it gets weird to me. Number 10, he has the Falcons. Drake London.
don't have Ridley.
Mac Hollins, Scott Miller. He's got Bijan, Kyle Pitts, and Jonnu Smith.
No.
And Patterson. Okay, no.
Too
11,
high.
The Raiders.
Just because of Devontae?
Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs, Michael Mayer, the tight end from Notre Dame, right? Is it
Michael Mayer.
Mayer.
Yeah.
Mayer, yep. 12, Pittsburgh, and I think Pittsburgh, you can make a case, could be higher.
Pittsburgh should go up with Pickens and
Deontay Johnson, George
Yeah.
Pickens, Allen Robinson, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth. Like, that's a legit group.
yeah, that's higher. So I understand Jefferson's greatness.
So,
then
people
they're
like
betting on
Addison,
Addison,
and then
Jordan
Hawkinson. Hawkinson.
Oh yeah, they got him for a bag
Hawkinson.
of balls. Yeah.
from Detroit. Like, that's
Who then
still one of the
picked-
most
who
stupefying
picked
trades.
another tight end out of Iowa in the second round to replace him.
Yeah, what, Laporta?
They had one. Yeah, they had Sam Laporta. They had one, and then they drafted.
Very strange.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to pay him. I have no idea.
13 Jags, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, ETN, and Evan Ingram. I
So
like that
I like
group.
them better than the Falcons.
I like that group better than the Falcons, too. 14 Washington, McLaurin, Dotson, Samuel, Antonio Gibson, Logan Thomas. 15 Detroit, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Marvin Jones, Josh Reynolds, Jamison Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta. I think if they had Jamison Williams for the full
Yeah, they'd
season,
be
they
up.
might be up higher. Ravens at 16, Beckham, Bateman, Flowers, Aguilar, Dobbins, Andrews. I mean, you can make a case they could be higher, but they haven't seen it from the receivers.
No.
17, New Orleans, wide receivers, Olave, Michael Thomas,
Thomas.
Rashid Shaheed, running backs, Kamar, Jamal Williams, tight end, Juwan Johnson, and then they also have Taysom Hill. How about this? 18 for the Bills, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Trent Sherfield, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid. 18.
To me, there was a window. It reminds me of the Cowboys from a couple of years ago where it felt like go win the Super Bowl right now.
Yep.
It's all lining up for you when they had Amari and they had CD and they had Gallup and all of that. The two running backs, I feel like the Bills were that like last year. Like last year was their year. They needed to sort it out, and they didn't.
They did not.
And then now they're kind of – Stephen A. was reporting Stephon Diggs wants out. So they got a lot they're dealing with.
19, the Bucks, Mike Evans, Godwin, Russell Gage. Like, just Mike Evans and Godwin should bump this group way up.
Yeah.
Rashad White, K. Dotton. 20, the Jets,
Oh, that's
Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Alan Lazard, McCole Hardman, Brees Hall, Dalvin Cook, Tyler Conklin.
No, that's
20th,
get up.
21st, Kansas City.
That's too
Valdez
low.
Scantling, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Justin Ross, Jerick McKinnon, Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice.
If you're overvaluing like the Vikings because of Justin Jefferson, then you've got to do the same thing with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I like your logic
and
there.
Diggs, too, with Buffalo.
Yeah, right.
And then how about this one? Rams, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Ben Skowronek. I mean, the rest of their things. Puka Nakua, Tutu Atwell, Tyler Higbee. Yeah.
They're lost.
But they're
Tennessee,
22nd because of Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Hopkins, Burks, Derrick Henry, Chig Okonkwo. I mean,
No clue.
no. Denver's at 24 with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Javonte, and Greg Dulcich. That seems low to me. The Colts at least 1,000 people for the Colts. They're at 25. The Bears with DJ Moore,
DJ
That's the
Moore
one
Claypool,
that I thought was
Mooney, Cole Kmet, 26.
They should be. They're better than
Yeah.
that.
Packers 27. Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, who they drafted in the second round, Aaron Jones, Luke Musgrave, rookie tight end. Giants made a lot of moves, and they're 28th. Slayton Hodgins, Paris Campbell, Sterling Shepard, Wandale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, Saquon Barkley, Darren Waller. Feels like they would be better than that. Arizona, Marquise Brown, Rondale Moore, Zach Ertz.
They got bad in a hurry.
Yeah. The Panthers, Thielen, DJ Chark.
Yeah, it's a mess.
New England, 31. Juju Smith-Schuster, Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne.
That's a mess.
Ramondre Hunter Henry.
New England's might be the worst.
Texans,
quite honestly.
32.
Houston
Yes.
says, hold my beer.
Nico Collins, Robert Woods, Noah Brown, Tank Dell, John Mechie. Isn't John Mechie back? Dalton
John
Schultz.
Mechie is back, and yeah, they should be better than Nico Collins can play a little bit. I'd have them better than New England.
Yep.
So, all right, so we're about where we thought that we ought to be.
Yeah, so
makes
they
sense.
got us right. But, I mean, when you see other teams like the Jets at like 20, you're
Yeah,
like,
it's hard to make sense of that.
man.
Greg Newsome coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And be sure to catch the Browns preview show tonight at 7. Ken and Gerard on the University Hospital's Cleveland Browns radio network. The voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan, and Browns Center Ethan Posick join the show as well. Now let's head to the podium and Greg Newsome.
How good did it feel
You're done.
in there against the Eagles? What did you gain personally from that, and what did you feel like you guys gained as a secondary specific also?
Yeah, I mean, having the opportunity to play against, a Super Bowl contender, team who was just in the Super Bowl is amazing for us as a team in general. It showed us, where we are at currently, and, we got some ways to go, but I thought we went out there, competed. So I was excited by, what the things we put on tape out there.
Was there something specifically you came away with saying, wow, one, positive or negative, like we need, just that you learned from those?
I mean, positive is just our D-line, man. Like, they were doing amazing out there against, arguably one of the best O-lines in the league. So, just seeing that, super positive, and, we always got stuff to work on. So I think we took a great step forward.
Greg, it seems like compared to last year in those joint practices, especially like this year, it just seemed like you guys as a defense made it so much harder on those pass catchers, and it's a great pass catching core. Do you feel like there was a difference there compared to a year ago? For
sure, and I think talent-wise, I feel like we've always had a lot of talent, but I just feel like, what we do outside of the building, always together. We're literally every single day, guys are doing stuff together, getting food together. So I just think that camaraderie that we have, not only in the secondary, around the whole entire defense, and the whole team is just amazing. So I think it's definitely showing on the field.
Was that time missed a concern to you at all? And do you feel like you're still on pace to be where you want to be week one?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, sadly, I've, had this happen before. But I'm always engaged. I credit myself on being, one of the smartest guys out there. So I'm definitely, able to take a lot of mental reps, and I think it just allows other guys to go out there and make plays. Like, I think like I said before, like me being out there, obviously I would love to be out there, but it gave guys like, Caleb Biggers and Cam Mitchell, gave them some more reps and show what they can do. So, I kind of try to find a positive in every negative.
I wanted to ask about Cam. Obviously, you know him super well, but it feels like he's showing up a lot. What have you seen from him? How impressed with you are the quick, transition to the NFL for him?
Man, I'm super proud of him. He's a guy, came in, and mistakes that he's made, he doesn't make them twice. And I'm not really too excited right now for him, honestly, because I expected him to do this. Like, I said it from the jump, like, even before I was like, Cam Mitchell's one of the best corners in college football, and he fell to us, so, we'll definitely take him. But I'm not really too excited for what he's doing because I expect him to be like this. I expect him to get out there and make plays. Like, we have high expectations for our room, so, that's nothing that I haven't seen before.
Players and coaches have talked about the defense being a little bit more simplified this year. Is that what we're seeing out here to this hot start and you guys kind of seeming to click early?
Oh, for sure. It's definitely some stuff, though, that we kind of mix up, but I think it's just, the sense of urgency that Coach Schwartz, coaches us with. Like, he doesn't accept, mediocre. So, when we get out there, we get new coverages and things like that, guys aren't making the same mistake twice, which is a good thing. Like, there's definitely some mistakes being made still, but I think with the sense of urgency that we're playing with and, learning with and our teachers are teaching with is just, at an all-time high.
When you look at that defensive line now, it's been rebuilt with Miles there, and now that you've gotten to actually see it in motion, just what does that do for you as someone in the secondary, knowing that you have that type of pressure ready to go up front versus maybe years past?
Yeah, I mean, just thank you, Lord. I mean, that ball got to come out super fast. Like, I mean, just even sitting there the game before against the Commanders and just seeing, the ability to get safeties from a holding penalty and things like that, like, that's amazing. So, I'm glad we got those guys on my team. It makes my job a lot easier. It makes us a lot, more confident on the back end, knowing, we could be real sticky in coverage because those guys will get there.
When we talked to Grant in West Virginia, he was talking about the fact that he doesn't feel he's reached his potential yet, and that he's got the bar set at great, and he's really harping on that this year. So I'm wondering, about you. Where do you have your bar set for yourself, and what are you aiming for this year?
Yeah. I definitely don't think I'm even close to, the level that I can get to. But, for me, it's just coming out every day, just working. I kind of try to speak stuff into existence, but my stuff is just more going to come from me being out there playing. Like, I don't want to say too much. I just want to go out there, you know, and make some strides every year. But I definitely don't think I'm close to my potential.
Greg, how exciting is it to kind of see the mixing and matching that Schwartz is doing between the safeties and the corners, and how he's utilizing all of you guys?
He's doing an amazing job. You know, I feel like we cross-train a lot of people where we can do a lot of things. And, you know, being able to do that, I think you kind of mess up the defense, you know, with maybe you having, you know, MJ inside and then I'm outside. Like, you can't get a tail on us. So I think with Schwartz having, like, that multiple defense is amazing.
I know we haven't seen everything, but do you feel like there's still more that you haven't even seen that Jim might throw at you guys?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think he has so much stuff. But, you know, he said we were one of the best groups of being able to, you know, get information and retain it and, you know, put it on tape. So he definitely probably got some more stuff out there that we haven't seen yet.
Kind of follow up on Chris's question. Are you pleased with what you think your role is going to be and how Jim is going to use you, whether it's outside, the combination of outside, inside?
Yeah, I'm super pleased. I mean, I'm once again able to show my versatility. When I am inside, you know, gladly I won't be, you know, I said, like last year I kind of felt like more of a little bit of a linebacker. But I think my role is amazing. And he's expecting me to do a lot of things on the inside. So I'm super excited for it. You know, I'm just trying to do whatever it takes for us to get to where we need to get to.
How difficult are these receivers making your guys' job on the defensive side and also making you guys better players?
Yeah, I mean, these receivers are amazing. You know, with Coop, Elijah, DBJ, said, you got to see Austin out here playing like a number one somewhere too. Like, we have so many guys that do so many different things. So I feel like we're prepared. Like, even going into the Eagles practice, I feel like our guys have, you know, put us in position to get to that practice and, you know, dominate. So our guys are amazing, and I'm definitely thankful for them.
Do you feel like there are other defensive backs on this team that have shown they are as good in the slot as you have been over the last year or so?
Oh, for sure. I think everybody. Like I said, I feel like our quote-unquote six corner would be a starter somewhere else. Like, I feel like our room is that deep. You know, you got Zoe out there, Zoe Burns playing amazing. Caleb Biggers playing amazing. Cam Mitchell playing amazing. We got guys literally that I feel like can easily step in if needed to play the slot, play outside. Like, I feel like our whole entire room is good enough to literally, if they weren't in this room, they would be playing on another field.
Coach Banda talked about the importance of leverage in Schwartz's defense. Is it different this year, how they're teaching you leverage and the importance of that, or is this something maybe you're used to in previous years?
It's just more like you must stay on the outside. Like, if we get beat, say we're supposed to be outside leverage and we get beat to the outside, oh, he's going to give it to you. Like, he's going to let you have it. So, like, it's just more of an emphasis this year, I would say. That's always been a thing, obviously, in football. You know, you try to stick to your leverage, but you can't get beat to your leverage with Schwartz. He'll get on you. So it's definitely more of a point of emphasis.
You talked about the defense, or the safeties. The defense was able to get 2 games in a row, back-to-back safeties. Everyone on the sideline putting the symbol up. Do you see that energy translating, and do you see it kind of maybe continue into the regular season from the feedback you guys were able to get from those plays?
Oh, for sure. I mean, when you got, you know, our 2 deep and 3 deep making plays like that, like, you know, we're super excited for them. And I think it'll definitely translate over. You see the sideline is just so happy for those guys, too. So, like, I feel like with this team, everyone wants everyone to succeed. And I feel like around the league, that's not the case everywhere, you know. So I definitely think that energy will definitely, you know, translate to the real games.
Greg, I know when we've talked to Jim, he's mentioned, like, wanting you guys to lead the league in some intangibles, like effort and passion and things like that.
Badassery.
Like, what you think as players when, you know, he kind of puts that out there this early and when he got here and stuff like that?
He has high expectations for us. You know, he coaches us hard, but that's because he has high expectations. So, you know, when we set a standard for us as players and we're not being to that standard, like we expect our coaches to, you know, push us harder and harder. And, you know, with him, it's just like he's going to coach us hard because he doesn't think we should be a top 10 defense or a top 8 defense. Like, we're trying to be the best defense. So we're going to, you know, we're going to hold ourselves to that standard, and he's going to push us every single day.
How do you lead the league in badassery?
It's just like what he said is, you know, when you got little guys like me going out there hitting, the D-line has to follow suit. Like, if I'm coming out there hitting, big guys got to be able to hit. When you got big guys up there at front running to the ball, sprinting to the ball, that makes us feel like we got to sprint to the ball. But it's more so like celebrating your brother's successes. You know, when someone makes a play, you should see everybody running over there to celebrate. And I think when you do that, then you'll definitely see that, you know, you're a family.
Greg, as a defender, you know, they're lining Elijah up in the backfield as a running back. What he's able to do, what strain does that put on a defense as somebody who has to defend it and go against it in practice?
Man, it's crazy. I mean, I see him in the backfield sometimes, but sometimes I'm supposed to be to the field. Sometimes I got to guard him in the backfield. Sometimes he'll take a handoff. Sometimes he'll motion out. Like, it's just so much that he can do. And it's definitely hard for us. But, I mean, I don't have to play against him in the game, so it's going to be hard for the other team. But, yeah, I just love that he's able to do so much. He can run the ball, as seen in preseason. Obviously, he's one of the, you know, most elite route runners, so it definitely puts pressure on the defense.
What makes him such a good route runner?
Man, first of all, he's low center of gravity. Like, he can get out, but then he's also 4.3 fast. So it's like a guy who's smaller, he's shifty, it's hard to get hands on him, but he's super fast. Like, he really can do everything. So it's definitely hard because when a guy that can run any route in a route tree makes him very dangerous.
Hey, Browns fans, you want to experience the 2023 Browns season? Some of the best seats in Cleveland Browns Stadium. Visit lakecom.edu Browns for your chance to win 2 field seats for the 2023 season, courtesy of Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Exactly 1 minute now.
Sweepstake ends. Not sure when. It just says sweepstake ends A.
What's Baco Nation doing right there?
Read the last line. Last sentence.
Visit lecom.edu/Browns for your chance to win 2 field seats for the 2023 season, courtesy of the Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine. Sweepstakes ends A.
The next level is next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Net.